Welcome, everyone, to today's episode of Aging and Spirituality. And this is where we explore how to live a fulfilled life after the age of 60. I'm Kathy Lee Taylor, your host, and your co host is,
Chris Jensen.
and we're very happy you're here. We are both yoga devotees who have journeyed on the spiritual path for over 50 years now, which is a long
Oh
time.
my God.
Yes, ta-da. And we've been sitting here talking about all the lessons that we've learned in those years and why we love to talk about yoga and why we actually do this podcast because we're both sharing from our heart, right? Chris is a natural born teacher.
Yeah.
I'm a student and a creative, and I love to talk about helping people. That's what we're here for. So today we're going to talk about what are the best ways to build and maintain self-confidence in your 60s and your 70s? Because things really change as you get past those years, and I can
It
remember the
does,
50s.
not only for you, but the way other people view you.
That is true too. I remember being in my 50s and feeling like no different, like I still felt 16 inside,
Mm.
But somewhere in the 60s, I started to think like, oh, okay, feels different. This feels, the body feels different. What I want feels different. I'm different. I'm a different person. So we're going to discuss that, how to be confident, but also other things like how to set meaningful goals, how to deal with change, improve your emotional well-being, and how to reduce stress, because that's something in the upcoming years we're all going to need to know. And we're going to really, Chris and I will share our personal experiences and some suggestions on how to do all of those things. So let's just dive right in. So, what are some of the challenges that we all face? Everybody faces after 60 years old. The first things that people think about typically are physical. You're getting wrinkles, gray hair, less hair. Oh my God. I colored my hair the other day and it was like, where's all my hair? I have fine
Of
hair, but I
course,
used to
gray
have a
hair
lot.
is an option. You
Yeah,
don't have to
gray
choose it.
hair. Not for this girl, not yet.
No. Mm.
Anyway, and there's new health challenges, so the body does not let you forget that you're on the back end of this journey. So, but what about the emotional and the mental shifts that we go through? We often do not talk about those things. Confidence is definitely one of those things that it starts to change and fade and take different forms and phases, and that's because it's time that we really reconsider who we are. It's when you get into your 60s and 70s, it's
I
the
think we
trick is,
start
go ahead.
thinking more about, what we really want to express. Like when we're younger, we're just so wrapped up in being successful or being a parent or whatever it is,
Yeah,
that we're
that's true.
doing. And
That's
now
very
we
true.
have maybe we do or don't have the time, but we want that. And maybe we don't know how to go about it. Mhm.
And that's a really good point. That's one of the first things that we want to talk about today is that, our sense of who we are, that innate worth grows, and we become very aware of the things that we have learned and done and accomplished in this long journey that we've been on, right? And so it's really about what do you want to focus your energy on? And a lot of us get to this stage, we know what we're good at. We have a kind of wisdom and understanding that we didn't have before, and we want to help and share with other people. So really, where do you start when you want to take a look at what are some of my strengths? What have I accomplished? What are my personal victories that I have actually achieved in my life? And what are the things that I've overcome? And um, the challenges that I really gained my biggest lessons from. And I'll say mine, like my biggest lesson in my yoga journey has been to be expressive from the heart. And this is something that comes very natural to Chris, which is probably why she ended up being one of my teachers and friends. And I've always been a very will-centered person, somebody that's got agendas and got to, do stuff. So one of my major accomplishments has really been sticking to the journey of learning and understanding and practicing what surrender really means in your life. So, much wisdom has been gained on that process and or on that journey. And I have learned how to be so much more fulfilled and happy because of that actual understanding and knowing that I have now. So how about you, Chris? What have
Oh,
you?
yeah. I mean, I think, when you're younger, you don't even realize that you have a strength
Yeah.
necessarily. You know, and it grows. But I did want to talk about something else, which I think
Go ahead.
maybe one of your other tips, but I think it's important to talk about it when we talk about, you know, how we reflect on our strengths. And that's to really have that kindness, that compassion for yourself, because we tend to be our own worst critics and we don't see our strengths because of that. I'll give my daughter as an example. I mean,
Oh,
here she is. She has
she's
a
tough on
two-and-a-half year
herself.
old, and he's beautiful. She's really, I mean, I'm so impressed with how patient she is with him. I don't think I was that patient when she was little. She's also a very successful attorney. She's a supervising attorney in the California Attorney General's office. And, she has a marriage and she takes care of her dad, my ex, my starter husband, as I say, so
Started
because he
around.
has dementia and and a lot of health problems. So she's carrying this big load. And she was talking to me and she was so down on herself. She said, I'm not doing anything well. I'm not spending enough time with Bo. I can't get my dad to all the appointments. She said, I'm not doing as good a job at work. Here, half of her team has been evacuated. She's a supervising attorney, and half her team's
The
been
fires.
evacuated with fires. One guy's
Oh
house burned down.
gosh.
So she's covering for everybody. And she's telling me that she's not doing as good a job. And I said, you need to stand back and really look at things. Here you are, you're raising a beautiful child. You're so patient with him. She really is. I mean, and
Yeah.
he's a handful. He's very bright and he's a real handful. And I said, Your dad is alive because you take care of him because he ate horribly. And I know you have to argue with him to keep him from eating bad food. And you're doing a good job at work too, because I know you wouldn't be doing the cases you're doing, and maybe you did a better job 3 years ago when that's all you did, but I doubt it because you had a social life too, and she started to feel better just by having someone tell her that stuff.
Yes, feed it back to her. Because
Yeah,
she's in practical overwhelm.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Somebody else would probably fall apart under all that, and it's
Well, yeah, I know exactly how that felt. I had a heart attack when I was running down that road
yes,
at,
yes.
1,000 miles an hour. And if
I
somebody had
know
been
as
able to
well.
step in and say, hey, you need to prioritize. You can't do everything. You're not
Yeah.
superwoman. It might have been a whole different outcome. But yeah, that's a tough one. So, okay, so one of the other things that you can do to boost your confidence is to focus on gratitude. I know this might sound a little odd, but gratitude can be a real game changer in life
Mhm.
because you're training your mind to focus on what you have, what is good in your life. And instead of thinking about what you don't have or the shortcomings or what you were just saying about Z, she's looking on the other side of what is it that I'm not doing? Wait, what about all the crap you are doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like she takes that part for granted. That's
Yes.
that's the type A personality that I was too, because you don't stop and think, I just did a laundry list of crap. How did I get it all done? And give yourself
Mhm.
congratulations for that. You're like, okay, I did that. What's next?
Mhm.
you
Right.
know,
Right.
which is not healthy. Trust me, if any of you are relating to that, it's not healthy.
Mm-mm.
Get out of that pattern right away. Okay, so all right, so one of the other things you can do in terms of boosting confidence is set meaningful goals for yourself because goals look different when you're 60 and 70 years old,
Right.
right?
Right.
Can't assume they're going to be the same. So you want to touch back in with yourself and reconnect with what you feel passionate about now. What makes you feel a sense of love in your heart now at this point in your life? Is there something there that you've always wanted to do, but you haven't done it yet? Like maybe you want to travel or paint or volunteer
Yeah. What's
or learn
really
new.
important to you in your heart?
It is. It is. And if it's there, pick one and do it. Don't just think about it. you know,
Yeah.
that one
You keep
that's
saying tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow.
tomorrow, tomorrow, right? That, which is probably what Z's telling herself. Tomorrow I'll learn how to,
Right.
make clothes or go shopping or have
Right.
a an Epsom salt bath or whatever. But tomorrow never comes. So when you get to be 16, 70, you don't allow that to happen anymore. Tomorrow's are right here, right now. We're gonna go have a hot bath. We're
Yeah.
gonna soak. We're gonna enjoy ourselves. So yes, connect with your passions and do them. The ones that are calling to you, do them. Don't deny yourself that joy, really. And just focus on the process, not the outcome. Who cares what happens? Like you can be as creative as you want. Create art, create whatever it is that you want. Who cares what it looks like? Who cares what happens to it? You're not trying to, you know, make a bunch of stuff that you're going to sell online or do stuff like that. I mean, that's the joy of getting to our age. We don't have to worry about that crap anymore. We
Yeah.
just get to enjoy ourselves.
Just have fun with it. Yeah. Whatever
100%.
you're doing, make sure it's fun for you. And if it's not, do something else. Find something
That's
else.
so important. And even the stuff that you want that may feel like it's something that you've tried to do in the past. Like, let me give an example. So, say you're trying to lose those last 10 pounds again, right? And instead of setting a goal like, I gotta lose 20 pounds, you can just, from the way I say that, you can just see how that feels heavy on your mind and your emotions and everything. Instead of saying something like that, just set a goal like, I'm just going to take a 30-minute walk today. Now you're focusing on the experience and the process of achieving something instead of I win, I fail, I try, I suck.
Mhm. Right. Right.
So when you have your focus on the process, on the joy of the experience, then you can stay motivated and get healthy easier naturally. So I
And
hope that,
focus on yourself, visualize yourself doing it and succeeding at it,
yeah,
Like if you've always wanted to, well, singing's an example. I was
yeah, yeah.
For me, everyone told me, oh, don't sing, don't open your mouth. And so I wanted to sing chants at the yoga center. So I took singing lessons from someone that Kathy recommended, who was like probably the best singing
Kind,
teacher in the
kind
world.
person, yeah.
And just because of his style. And I remember my first lesson with him, he said, there's nothing mysterious about singing. It's two things. He said, it's the muscles memorizing the positions and confidence. And he said, clearly you have no confidence. And he said, he hates that people do that they say, oh, you can't sing. He said, because everybody can.
Yeah, they can.
And I believed that. And he said, we'll do these lessons and you will get the muscles to learn the positions. And as I worked with him, before you know it, it was like I opened a huge door in myself that had been closed because
Yep.
I was singing and writing songs and loving it.
I remember that. Remember the writing songs part. I thought that was really interesting that came out when you learned to sing. There was a whole
Yeah,
part of you that was trapped in there.
yeah, yeah. In fact, when I, stopped taking lessons just because it was expensive and I'd gone as far as, I
It
needed
was
to go to
expensive.
lessons, but he had told me afterwards that he said, "Oh, the songs I wrote were the ones I worked on with you." Because I would write the lyrics and we would sit together and do the music and he would get where I wanted to go with it.
Yeah, he was a very devoted person. I remember that. I
Yeah,
remember
so it
that
was
you guys
very,
did that together.
but that was something that I never thought I could do,
Yeah,
you know.
that's a
So
great example,
don't
so
yeah,
don't limit yourself.
don't limit yourself.
Yep. Just permit yourself to have those desires and those
Yep.
needs. And if they don't work out, move on to the next one, man. You probably got a list. Just keep going. Have some fun.
Yeah.
So, okay, so the next thing is in terms of boosting your confidence, you want to embrace change and new beginnings because it feels totally different at this part in point in your life, like see change as a blessing, not a curse. Invite it in. Um, welcome it because it's always going to bring something new possibilities, new things that you can step into. And really, what the hell have you got to lose? Nothing. You got nothing to lose. Like if you're in retirement and it feels like the end, what would it mean to you to have it feel like a beginning? Change that around.
Mhm.
explore things again that you love to do and make it so you don't even think about that idea of being in retirement. You're enjoying yourself. Just start small with small ideas. Anything that um new beginnings can feel like they're overwhelming. So just start with small changes. Take a class, a hobby, something that
Yeah.
would listen to your inner self. What is it calling you to do at this stage in your life? Because oftentimes, spirit will call you to just discover a new part of yourself that you haven't had time to look at before. And that's exciting.
Yeah, learning something new is such a great adventure. I mean, that's my favorite thing in the world is to learn new things.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
actually had a friend who said to me, "Oh, why don't you do that? Because you like to learn new things." Like I was a fool for wanting to learn new things, you know. But it's the most wonderful thing to do and open yourself up to. And if you look at a small child, they're just craving
Exactly.
learning new things all
Mhm.
the time.
That's exactly what they do.
And the
And that
mind keeps developing.
and 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 the common thing that child and what we're talking about at this stage is that they remain open and curious,
Yes. Yes. That's it. Yeah.
right? Not afraid of
What's life
changing.
all about? We're not putting it into a little compartment.
Exactly. I mean, we can go until we transition back to God, to
Yeah.
God, just
Mhm.
asking, what can I learn from this new phase? What can I learn about
Yeah.
this new part of my life that I
Mhm.
haven't learned already? There's so many doors yet to be opened, so don't forget that. Okay, and then one other idea about boosting your confidence, at this stage in life is just really improving your emotional well-being and
Mm.
making sure that you're not carrying stress with you, so like you're doing your mindfulness practices, being
Yeah.
present in the moment. That's going to make you drop the anxiety and the worry. And this is the stuff that Chris is great at teaching: breathing exercises and meditation. They really make you feel fully present. I mean, if you can learn how to be in the present moment, that is one of the biggest gifts you can give yourself, give your life.
Absolutely.
Really,
Absolutely.
it really, really is.
Most of the time we're somewhere else,
We are
we're in a
somewhere else.
conversation, we're not there. I mean, people they think they're having a senior moment because they left their keys somewhere or they forgot something, but most of the time it's because you're somewhere else. Your mind is
Yep.
somewhere else.
And that happens when you're alone. Like I know, Chris, you're around more people than I am, but you know, as an alone person, the idea of being mindful is, what am I being mindful of? My computer, my, my room, my whoever, the space around me, the work that I'm doing, but mostly, how am I feeling? How am I
Mhm.
expressing? Am I staying connected in spirit? Am I expressing spirit? That's what I pay attention to during the day, because that's when I know I'm doing something that's going to be, I get to the end of the day and I'm going to feel fulfilled.
Mhm.
I had a good
Mhm.
day,
Right.
you
Right.
know? Yeah. So one of the things too is at our age, it's important to really have a support network. It's not great to
Mm.
be alone when you're in your 60s and your 70s. Find your tribe,
Yeah.
your people that you can hang out with. Those will be the folks that will emotionally support you. Um, you know, take time to give things back to you. Ask you how you're doing, that kind of stuff. The things your family used to do when you were,
Mhm.
a much younger person before you all
Right.
split to different places in the world. So find that tribe. It's really
Yeah.
important. I know there's a community here in Orange County that is like 18,000 homes of just seniors, and they are so good at supporting each other. When one falls, the whole community gets together and brings food for a week and they organize it.
Great. That's
So
great.
that's what I'm talking about. Find your tribe and hang on to them.
Yeah, you can find it anywhere at the gym. I mean,
They're probably right next to you.
right, right. Yeah.
Right? They're probably your neighbors.
Like we've go to a yoga center and, there's just a community there.
Yeah, and even though we don't see each other all the time, if we needed
Doesn't
somebody,
matter.
we just pick up the phone,
They're
call,
there. Yeah.
they will be there. So, okay, so then the last point I wanted to make was about prioritizing self-care, and I want to make a distinction here about the idea of self-care. It's not just bubble baths and putting on a face mask and
No.
painting your nails. Oh, those are a lot of fun. Don't get me wrong.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
But it's about making time for all the activities that nourish your mind, body, and soul. What are
Mhm.
those? For me, it's always learning. I'm a creature of learning. I love to be reading and doing new stuff, like right now I'm reading about podcasting. Chris and I were talking about this before the show. I'm reading this
Yeah,
great
there's always new things.
there's new things to always focus on and to grow and to make you feel like, okay, you're creating something that is going to be good and you can give people and you can help. And so that's really important to me. I like to be in a very creative mode. So that for me is self-care. I have to
Yeah,
have time for myself. And
yeah.
that includes,
Whatever that is for you.
well, right now it includes physical therapy. Well, soon
Well,
it'll be more, playing tennis again, hopefully, and, doing things like, going down your favorite walk path or, your spiritual practices. That's the best
yeah,
self-care you can give yourself
that's
every day.
incredible.
Meditate
Yeah.
day and night, dusk and dawn becomes a
Meditate,
very
meditate,
sacred
meditate.
time, right? Sacred time for your soul. Okay. Anything else you want to say? Because we're wrapping up to the end of our key here.
Just be open, be grateful, be open.
And receptive, exactly. All right. We hope you enjoy our tips and our insights and that they
Right.
resonate with you. And take them with you. Do stuff with these ideas. Make your life a beautiful, joyful experience. It's just an amazing chapter
Can
in
be.
your life.
Every day can be
Just stay connected and grow, grow, grow. And
yeah,
if you found the episode helpful for us, please go to YouTube and share and like and subscribe so others can hear the podcast and benefit from these conversations.
benefit from it
you know
too.
yeah, exactly. And feel free to reach out to us because we love to hear from you. So thank you for joining. And until next time, take care of yourself and nurture your spirit. And know you're never alone on this journey. At least we're here
We're
watching.
here for you. Let us
All
know. Bye.
right, take care. Bye.